What's up, guys? This is the Jared Dean Show. Finally, the trade deadline's over. Dwight Howard staying. The Lakers made a couple moves. The Clippers made a move. Just some of the highlights. Yeah, I'm going to go over the moves the Lakers made and in detail, and then I'll let you know about some of the other moves. But I'm not going to get into great detail with them. Just kind of let you know what they are. And if I miss any trades, A, they're not important, or B, if teams are just trading away to rebuild, there's no point of, anyways, okay, so the Lakers were in trade talks for Michael Beasley, which originally everyone thought it was for Steve Blake would be going, but in fact it was actually Derek Fisher to Minnesota for Michael Beasley. But they did not want his extra money on his contract. They didn't want to pay him. So that trade didn't work out. And then after that went through, the Lakers nailed their first move. They traded Luke Walton, Jason Capono, and a first-round pick to the Cavaliers for Christian Iyenga, small forward, and Ramon Sessions, point guard. This is a great trade, I think, for the Lakers. Finally, they got a point guard who is decent. I'm not going to overhype it like most people saying the Lakers should be favorites now to win the title. They finally got a point guard or whatever. We'll see how this pans out. But it's just finally, after the Smush Parkers, the Smush Parker era and all, it's just been such a bad few years with point guards for the Lakers, and they finally got one who's good. Not top 10, not top 15, maybe top 15, but I don't know. He's good. I just think he was on the Cavs putting up, good numbers, but because he's on the Cavs, people really don't think of him that much. I think in a Lakers uniform, he'll definitely shine more. When the Lakers were in talks of trading for Jose Calderon a few months ago, maybe a month ago, that was the big thing. Everyone said, well, who's Jose Calderon? I've never even heard of him. He can't be that good. But everyone would say if he played for the Lakers his whole entire career, people would consider him really good. But because he plays for the Raptors, no one ever hears about him. That kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, Kobe even tweeted, he's like, so now we're title contenders just because we got Sessions. Kind of picking fun at everyone who's been saying that. But it's definitely good they finally got a good point guard. And the trade with Michael Beasley did not go through, which I'm on the fence with. I'm kind of happy because I do think Metta World Peace deserves that starting job and deserves a lot of minutes from the small forward spot. And if they would have got Michael, they would have had 3 small forwards. One of them would have had to go. And Matt Barnes is also a really good talent. He's definitely got his head on straight, something Michael Beasley doesn't. And the next trade the Lakers did in their last trade was they traded Derek Fisher to the Rockets for Jordan Hill, a backup center. A lot of Lakers fans, not outraged, it's just kind of weird. No one was expecting them to trade Derek. I wasn't expecting it. When I got on my phone, I flicked through and it said Lakers trade Derek Fisher to the Rockets. I was thinking, no way. That's a misprint or something, But yeah, Jordan Hill's a backup center. He was a lottery pick at one point, so at some point in time, somebody saw him with a lot of potential as a good player. But I think, the Lakers last year traded Sasha Vujacic for Joe Smith, and Joe Smith didn't get any minutes. I think it's going to be a similar type of thing. There's 2 reasons I'm going to say why they did. First of all, Jordan Hill, I don't see him taking minutes away from Troy Murphy or Josh McRoberts. But there's 2 reasons why they did this trade. The Number one, and the biggest reason was for the money. Derek Fisher, they were paying him way too much for doing way too little. And this helps them trim some cash, get back down, lower their luxury tax. And the Lakers, it's a business, and when they're not, they still want to be profitable. They want to win championships, but they still want to be profitable. And when their luxury tax is that high, it's hard to do. So that's the biggest reason. And I mean, the Lakers aren't the bad guys here. When Derek Fisher was a free agent, restricted free agent, and he wanted to last year, and the Lakers offered him 2.5 million or 2 million or one. They offered him 1 million, I believe, and he wouldn't take it. He thinks he deserves more, but he really doesn't. He's awful. Other than his leadership. But anyways, so that's the number one reason they did it. Number two, I think, is because they're bringing in Ramon Sessions, and obviously they want Ramon to eventually be starting, getting a lot of minutes, and be the point guard of the future. And I think it just, like, it would just have been uncomfortable for the team, the fans, everybody involved, if they would have just been cutting. They would have had 3 point guards on the roster, and they would have just been cutting back Derek's minutes more and more. Because I think Ramon would have been getting the primary minutes, and then, like, Steve Blake and Derek would split the remaining minutes. And that's, how is anyone going to get into a rhythm like that, barely playing with Derek and Steve splitting the minutes? So that's part of it. And Derek, I don't think he would have took too kindly with, okay, Derek, you're not going to get a lot of minutes. We traded for this guy. Because even if it's for the majority of the game, Derek's on the bench, I know he still thinks he deserves to be in there in the final 2 minutes or for his leadership. And you could argue he does deserve to be there because of the clutch shots he's hit over the years. But, if this is going to be my point guard, Ramon, to start the game, to play the majority of the game, he deserves to be there in the final minutes. The Clippers got a great move. They traded Drew Bledsoe for Nick Young, I believe, from Washington, and he's a good player. Like from that, a lot of people are saying the Clippers are now title contenders, which I don't know if I'd go that far right now, but we'll see how it plays out. But that's definitely a big move that people weren't really talking a lot about, but that's a great move. The Spurs got back Steven Jackson. They sent Richard Jefferson to the Warriors, and that's a good move, I believe, for the Spurs, because he's played with them before. He's played under Greg Popovich. He knows the system, and that brings them that sort of toughness. Like, when you think of the Spurs, you really don't think tough. When you think Steven Jackson, you think tough, and that brings in that sort of toughness. But, we'll see tonight. Tonight the Lakers play Minnesota, and Ramon wants to debut tonight. Will he start? I don't think so. I think they'll still start Steve just for a couple games, let him learn the system, see how he does. But eventually, yeah, I think he will. They traded for him for a reason. But we'll see. Maybe the Lakers are going to go on a tear now. Maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be the opposite. We'll see. Like I said, I don't see Jordan Hill getting minutes. I don't even see Christian Iyenga getting a lot of minutes either, because Andrew Gadlock does such a good job coming off the bench, and you have Matt Barnes coming off in the small forward spot, and so we'll see. But yeah, the Lakers definitely got a lot younger. Ramon Sessions is 25, Christian Iyenga's 23 or 24, Jordan Hill's 24. These are not players where you're like, wow, in the future these guys are going to be studs. Because other than Ramon, I don't really see Christian Iyenga or Jordan Hill being that type of player. But just gives them that youth and athleticism. They're not getting ran off the court some of these Lakers players will still get out and run. You have Rajon for the Celtics who wants to run. He's going up and down, and his players they can't. They don't want to do it. They're too old. But, the Lakers still, with Ramon running the break, they'll still be able to get out and run. And it'll just be awesome to see in the playoffs, to see these Ramon going at it with, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook and them. But, okay, well, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you next time.